Welcome to another live stream watch-along reaction. Tonight we're watching and reacting to United States versus Mexico, the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup final. Mexico looking for their 10th and a back-to-back, which is very rare in this tournament. Very rare in this tournament. We've seen defending champions make the final. We don't see them clear that final hurdle for a back-to-back. USA looking for their 9th CONCACAF Gold Cup. Will the USA, with this ragtag bunch of C-team players and MLS guys with one big European player, well, Chris Richards plays in Europe too, but he's a center back. It's fine. Either way, 2 European players and mostly MLS players make lightning strike twice. The last time the USA were in the Gold Cup final, they won. They played an A team in Mexico with the C team, and they won. Can they do it again 4 years later? Or will this Mexico A team do what that 2021 Mexico team could not do? A Mexico team right now, Mexico A team that's starting to find its form and find its actual identity under Vasco Aguirre. Should be interesting. But Estados Unidos contra Mexico, la final de la CONCACAF Copa Oro. Yes, it is. I think it looks good. I think it looks good. See, the problem is I didn't know. See, the problem is if I knew Chelsea would be in the final next Sunday, I might have wore the suit tonight. See, I don't know that, though. I could believe that's the possibility, but who knows? Besides the Club World Cup final, I probably should wear the suit anyway. But, so, you'll get half of it, then you'll get the whole thing next week. I think that's fair. Either way. Starting 11s are as follows. For the USA, Matt Freese. The back four, Alex Freeman, Chris Richards, Tim Reen, Max Arfston. The defensive midfield 2 of Tyler Adams. Oh, I forgot about him. He is at a big European club. Luca De La Torre. He came back to MLS. Attacking midfield 3, Diego Luna, Malik Tillman, Sebastian Berhalter, and Patrick Agyemang. Up top for the USA. For Mexico, in goal, we have Luis Malagón. We have the back four of Jorge Sanchez, Cesar Montes, Johan Vasquez, Jesus Gallardo. We have the midfield 3 of Gilberto Mora. We'll have Edson Alvarez and Marcel Ruiz. And the front 3 of Piojo Alvarado, Raul Jimenez, and Alexi Vega. They should. But it's Arsenal. Like, Arsenal will be contenders. Well, you said contenders. Okay, yeah, they will. Win it, though? I don't know. It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if Liverpool fell off this year because of the tragedy they have suffered. The mentality, the team will feel a lead balloon wrapped around their ankle. And I know it sounds morbid, but you could either, if you're a Liverpool, use the tragedy to fuel you, or use the tragedy will pull you down. Now, I love Liverpool's mentality. I think they will play hard for Diogo, but there's just this feeling of, I don't know. I just hope I'm wrong. I hope they just fight for him. And I'm wrong, that they're going to be so shell-shocked, that it's going to be hard for them to get back to where they were. That their title defense is just going to be shot down before it even started. I would hope that's wrong. I would hope they fight for him and they win for him. But it's a 50-50 shot, really. And Liverpool might have a good mentality, but tragedy like that is still hard to overcome. Yeah, he still does. Ajimong's starting, so let's go USA, says EXE. Oh, there's the trophy. Oh, they have like one of those push things. That's cool. Viva Mexico, says Ozan. Who you rooting for? I picked Mexico to win, so I'm rooting for my pick. Still 1-1 Columbus, Seattle. Mexico's fullbacks, I'm shocked they went with that. But I guess because they're more experienced, because it's a final. I think it's a bad idea. They're still the better team on paper anyway. That's not an excuse. They're still the better team on paper. But I guess they picked the guys who are more experienced for a final, who have played finals. And I don't think they've won one. No, I don't think either of them have won a final, but they've played finals. Oh, wait, no. Nations League. My bad. Against the USA, actually. Finals against the USA. They did win the Panama final. They did. My bad. I mean, that was pretty much a layup. Either way. Okay, no, they did win against Panama. That was a howler. That was bad. USA finals. But that was savable. They're walking out. Anthems to be played. And it's the final. Come on, MLSFC. Striker. João Pedro will play at striker, as you saw during the Palmeiras game. I think because they have more experience in finals. That's my guess. They have more experience in finals for Mexico. And also for club. Jorge Sanchez did win the Champs Cup with Cruz Azul. Gallardo has experience in finals for Toluca, for Monterrey, Champs Cup finals, league finals, game, national finals. He does. So, maybe it's the experience. That's my only explanation. It's got to be the experience factor. It's got to be. That's my only expectations. John Duran moving to Fenerbahce. It's better than Saudi. Well, I'm happy he's at least back at European football. Dude was too young to play in Saudi. I have a better look at Saudi football after the Al Hilal game, but he was still too young to be playing in Saudi. There's some players I'm like, no, you're too damn young to be playing in Saudi. No, you're too damn young. If you're old as shit, fine, go get your bag, even though you probably already have one. If you're like the age of John Duran or some of these younger players who've gone to Saudi, I'm like, really? Osimhen, he should be playing in Europe, higher up. Now he's back in Turkey, of course. Same thing that John Duran did, Turkey. But at least he's back in European football. I didn't really understand it at first. I still don't understand it now. I'm going good. I can read both, Risklander. Probably, but we'll see if you're right. He was talking the one in between. Vasco got hit with a bottle of glass thing or whatever. It doesn't matter because either way, I could read both. I got the gist of what you were saying. I can read. I can read. I can read. Even if it's split up, I got the gist. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But Mexican anthem being played. I mean, that's not surprising. They are a horrible franchise. But I don't know. Would I rather win and be memed to death or be the horrible franchise and never win? Yeah, probably meme to death. Leafs fan, meme to death. I think Isaiah's rooting for the USA. I'm just rooting for my pick. I could care less. I'm just rooting for Mexico because I picked them. I could care less. As you can tell, bub. My team's out. I don't give a shit. Hell, Guatemala made the final. I might have rooted for them anyway. Which is weird because that's not normally how I roll when my team loses to somebody. And I still sometimes, recently, kickoff is next. Flounder's got a second yellow. Oh, look, Malagon, they're all wearing ribbons for Jota. At least the Mexican players. We'll see if the Americans are. I'm sure the Mexican players did because of Raul. My guess, at least. Streets won't forget. Raul and Jota together at Wolves. The Streets won't forget. And Adama Traore. Streets won't forget. Streets won't forget. Adama Traore, Jota, and Raul at Wolves. Streets won't forget. That was some fun football. Yeah. Hey, I'm sad about both. I was sad. I'm still sad about the Gaudreau brothers. But again, it's still a tragedy, but it was a year ago. It's a very similar tragedy for both. Really is when you think about it. It's a similar tragedy on both ends. It really is once you think about it, but I'm still sad about the Gaudreau brothers. I remember when I saw the news the first time when I was live, my stomach dropped on camera. Starting 11 for the USA, Matt Freese. The back four, Arston, Ream, Richards, Freeman. The attacking midfield three, De La Torre, Adams, Tillman. And the front three of Berhalter, Ajimang, Luna for the USA. On Fox, they're using the CONCACAF 11s. Funny. Hey, I love hockey. I love football. Both are sad. Both are sad to me. Both are tragedies to me. All four of them, it's sad we've lost all four of them. Malagon in goal for Mexico. Gallardo, Vasquez, Montes, Sanchez. Ruiz, Alvarez, Mora. And the front three of Vega, Jimenez, and Alvarado. Yeah, exactly. Agreed. Here we go. USA wearing their white, Mexico wearing black. I mean, yeah, the UFC fight is a good idea for the 250th. I will agree with that. I hope we'll see if Connor finally fights Chandler. I want to see that pay-per-view with the UFC Octagon in the White House Rose Garden for the 250th next year. I want to see it. And if McGregor fights Chandler, I want to see that too. Hey, McGregor said he might fight there. Chandler. It better be. It better be. USA to kick off. Yep, I saw that. Valanciunas wanted out to play Greece, and Denver won't let him out of it, which is crazy. I mean, and we're off. Playing forward. Header. Why is that? Is there fog or something? It's probably smoke. It's an indoor stadium. It's probably smoke from like the fire and stuff. Huh. Why does that name sound familiar? Is he Uruguayan? Why? I've seen that name before. Is he? Why is that name familiar? Cleared away. Mario Escobar is the center ref from Guatemala. Is he Uruguayan? I could have sworn I think I've seen him play for Uruguay, at least at some level. I think that's what it is. Is he Uruguayan? Was it the Italy game? Was it that Italy U20 final? Oh, it's a different one. Okay. LJ player. Well, there you go. Wait. I don't think he did. I don't think he did. I don't think Jonas would be crashing out if he knew. Yeah. I miss Valanciunas. Compare Mexico, USA position by position. With tonight's rosters or the main rosters? See, because there's a different answer for that. It's like Common Core and regular math. There's different answers. Playing forward, good clearance by the USA. Tonight's rosters are just in general? Because, I mean, yeah, Mexico's roster would be the same, but in general, or 3 minutes in. Obviously, tonight's. In goal, I say Malagon's better than Freeze. Easy. Sanchez and Arfston. Jorge is better than Arfston. Ream and Montes. Montes is better than Ream. Vasquez and Richards, I say Chris Richards is better than Vasquez. Freeman and Gallardo. Gallardo better than Freeman. De La Torre and Mora, or De La Torre, Alvarez. Well, yeah, I'm just going to, yeah, we'll go with it. De La Torre and Mora. Mora's better from the little bit I've seen of him. Alvarez and Adams, Edson's better. Ruiz and Berhalter. Ruiz is better. Marcel Ruiz is better. Tillman and Alvarado. Piojo Alvarado. Luna and Vega. Diego Luna. Ajimong and Jimenez. Over the top. Header. Oh, is it in? Is it in? Is it in? Does it count? Yes, it is. Goal. Goal for Chris Richards. It counts. It counts. 1-0. It counts. The free kick played over the top. Richards' header goes in, and it bounces down onto the line, and I guess it fully crossed. 4 minutes in. It counts. 1-0. At least for now. Let's see if they check it. I don't know. Let's see. Header. It did. Maybe a microscopic piece didn't cross. Amazing header. Let's see. It went bar down. Was there a piece of it that didn't cross the line? That's the question. From the side, it looked like it did. But it might be a microscopic piece. I think it might have crossed the line. There was no chance he had that. There was no chance he had that. Don't even do that. It did. It crossed. It fully crossed just barely by an inch. By an inch. But they don't have goal line technology. By an inch. To the naked eye, it did by an inch. It counts. CONCACAF is CONCACAF Mexico. Well, depends on what you want to say. Berhalter played over the top. Richards with a bullet header, and it goes in, bar down, and it counts. 4 minutes in. 1-0, 1-0. Chris Richards. I said 3-1 Mexico, so just wait. Ah, shit. Damn. Even though Stephen Fry has haunted my nightmares because Toronto is idiotic, I still like the guy. He's still a very solid goalkeeper. He was a good dude. He is a good dude. I mean, he's just got hurt. He is a good dude. You know, I hate that for him. He has haunted my nightmares, though. Chivas has too. Either way, I still like the dude because he's a former TFC player. He's a good dude. He was good for TFC. He's been even better with Seattle. Man, I feel sorry for him. Damn. Centimeters, fair enough. Yeah, he probably might. Depending on what it is, he might be cooked. I don't like that. Bullet header by the USA. They took their chance. It's only 6 minutes. If Mexico bottles this, I swear to God. Hey, he deserves it more than Vinicius. He deserves it more than Vinicius, for sure. For sure. Playing forward. Edson. Problem is, you can't even blame the outside backs here. And people were worried about that. Chris Richards is good on set pieces. He really is. Game is over, 1-1 draw between Columbus and Seattle. What was the injury, Rory? Like, was it a leg? Was it, well, goalie needs everything, but was it like a broken leg? Was it, like, what's the severity look like? On Fry. Well, we knew that. I mean, didn't he score one against Canada in 2023? Concussion. Oh. Well, a concussion. Well, you don't know how bad those could be. Really bad concussion. Like stretchered off bad? Well, then that's bad. I mean, really bad to me is you got stretchered off with a concussion. So, similar injury in Portland last season. Yeah, you can't. Multiple concussions like that, it's just the older you are, the worse it is. So, yeah, he might be cooked. I would rather, honestly, even though he's old, if I was him, I'd rather break my leg than concussion, especially a bad one. But may take a year for you to get back, but I mean, Neuer came back from it, and he's about as old. No. Because I don't think Mexico's played badly. It's just they gave up a stupid foul. Ball played over the top by Berhalter, which he has pinpoint accuracy on free kicks. He's good at delivering set pieces. And then you have a guy who's good at scoring headers. It was a recipe for disaster. So one bad defensive setup on a set piece ruined Mexico so far, but it's only 10 minutes in. And he was onside. The pace of Richards, his header, the pinpoint accuracy of Berhalter popping it in because he has pinpoint accuracy. It's not Mexico's lineup. It's the fact that they shouldn't have given away the free kick. Okay, yeah, no, that is a bad concussion. Yeah, no. Well, it depends on how bad it is. I'm not a doctor, but they are saying the fracture is not as bad as a complete leg break. So maybe, I've heard some people say November. I would hope they're right. He is a high-performance athlete. Really, again? He's a high-performance athlete. And I'd say it's doable. I hope he does. But I hope they're right that the injury is not as bad of a fracture as a full-on leg break, that it's a lower leg ankle fracture or a shin fracture or not a complete leg break. They say a dislocated ankle and a slight, I think somebody said dislocated ankle, slight fracture. I hope that's probably easier to deal with. But again, I'm not a doctor or orthopedist. That's just my 2 cents. I'm not the guy you ask about. Like, if you're an athlete, I would think it makes it easier to come back from stuff like that. And if it's the lower severity than what it looked. Yeah, but at this point he is. I think he is already. I think Sebastian Berhalter is better than his dad as a footballer already. Like, I mean, Greg was a solid player back in the early 2000s? But nobody really speaks about him in that lens. Sebastian, he's damn good. And you know what? He should make the World Cup roster for the USA. Playing forwards Mexico. I mean, Sebastian Berhalter, th minute in. You know. Well, this year was the fact he was hurt. I mean, he still performs better than Marner. I think the fact that Marner didn't shoot hurt him, and they were normally on the same line. I think because they knew the puck was going to Austin, it made him easier to be closed down. But I thought he had a really good playoff performance, besides scoring, you know. But the fact he was hurt didn't help him. Cross in, cleared away. The fact that he wasn't scoring didn't help him. But if he was scoring, I think he would have a really good playoff. At least a little bit more. Probably would have advanced. But if he's completely healthy, he can play like he did and score. I think Berube's system would be perfect for him, and he won't have Marner on his wing. So you don't know exactly who's going to shoot. So I think most of the problems that he really had have sort of resolved themselves. I still think the C is a bit too heavy for him, but I'll give him a chance this year if he's completely healthy. I'll give him a chance. Save by freeze. And see if it was more of the injury than the C. I still think the C is a little bit too heavy for him, but it is for a lot of players, especially in a market like Toronto. I mean, it was too heavy for Dion Phaneuf. Matt Sundin, he wore it well. John Tavares wore it well. Mexico will be winning. But I do believe that this game would be better if it was in Mexico City. 14th minute, but of course, you know, CONCACAF would never do that. Alexi Vega, cross in, top of the box. Marcel Ruiz, Edson Alvarez. Edson plays it wide. Slow cross, saved by Freeze. Matthew Nyes. Matthew Nyes seems like the type of guy who's unshakable when you talk about a captain. Matthew Nyes. You do know why they put Mexico games in the USA, don't you? Friendlies or competition. You do know why, don't you? That always happens. Even in Utah somehow. There's always Mexico fans who will either travel to the game or diaspora fans who will be there, and they'll spend their money. It's been a freaking cheat code for years, at least for the FMF, to make money. Ruining the national team and the level of it. Yeah, it also did that. But for money-wise, it's a cheat code. Also for CONCACAF. I'm not blaming the lineup for Mexico. No, I mean, they haven't had a bad game. They just shouldn't have given up the free kick. It was a totally bad, what's the word? Sequence of events. Set up. There we go. I'm not blaming them. Yeah, but no, I've seen Mexico sell out a game in Charlotte, North Carolina. I never thought that was possible until I saw the demographics on Wikipedia. But that was after I was like, why Charlotte? Then I look up the demographics and I'm like, oh, well, traveling, but oh. I was like, okay, that makes sense. I still haven't looked up Utah, though. That's very weird to me. Utah. And they still sold it out. Chicago, I get. For a C team, though, which is wild against Bolivia, but either way. Because Mexico's horrible at set pieces, defending set pieces. Well, yeah, I mean, look at Guatemala. I'll tell you one thing. St. Louis, the metro area, does not have a big, as far as I know, is not known for having a big Guatemalan diaspora. And they 90-10 the USA's ass. The Guatemalans did. They traveled. The bulk of them traveled. Probably, I'd say 80% of that 90% traveled. And that's probably being liberal with it. Well, yeah, I'm not saying there's not a big Guatemalan diaspora. That's not something the Metro East is known for. At least I haven't heard it. I haven't heard so. Now, Bosnians, yes. Vivo Mil. But either way, they always do. Oh, yeah, by the way, guess who works together with Mexico now to promote the Mex Tour games? Some, right. They did sell out their own team because who created some? Soccer United Marketing. Who started that? The USSF. Good job. So they did sell out their own team and also are making money off of Mexico in the process. They saw the cash it made, said, we want a piece of that. Mex Tour's advertising rights came up, and guess what? Some became a part of it because MLS and some have started to pull away from each other. So, yeah, they sold out their own team. You're damn right they did. I don't know. It's a good point, but I don't know. Maybe when you play as a team, maybe that's what happens. I don't know. Alexi Vega plays it wide. Give it time. It's only 20 minutes. There's no way Mexico, the USA, holds on to this with a clean sheet. I'll tell you that right now for free. There's no way. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm sure that if there's nations that have big diasporas in cities, like I believe Jamaica, like if Jamaica had a friendly with the USA, New York, well, you put that in New York, that's a bad decision. You got the ones from Toronto coming down as well, because it's pretty damn close. Yeah, no. I think put a Bosnia versus USA game in St. Louis. The Bosnians are going to be there. Didn't they do that before for a friendly? I think they did, didn't they? At least on one of the sides. I think they did. Didn't they do that for a friendly or something? They put it in St. Louis against Bosnia? I don't know if they knew about Bevo Mill. You should. But either way, as I said, let's see what else. Playing Mexico anywhere is a death sentence but Columbus for some reason. And they still travel. But especially Texas and California. Cross in. Well, I guess it's not. They're winning. But either way, 20th minute shot. fan base wise it is. I'm still shocked. Ref got a good eye. Huh. Interesting, Isiah. Cross in. So here's my thing. Like, yeah, didn't they do that? St. Louis, Bosnia versus USA in St. Louis? I could have sworn. Well, there's never repeats. See, here's the thing about the Gold Cup. There's never repeats. That's the plot armor. It's not the fact that Mexico's better, and it's not the fact that USA's worse. The plot armor is there's never repeats. The defending champion makes a final and chokes. That's the plot armor. See, you got it all wrong. Why didn't I predict the USA then? Because I actually thought the USA sucked, but I forgot about the plot armor. But you have a point. The plot armor is that during the Gold Cup, the defending champion doesn't repeat, especially recent history. In prehistoric history, maybe, but recent history, the champion doesn't repeat, even if they make the final. USA couldn't even make the final 2 years ago. Mexico makes the final in 21 and loses to the USA. 19, USA makes the final after being defending champions, loses to Mexico. Mexico are the defending champions tonight, losing to the USA. But the defending champion always seems to blow it. Normally in the final, but then the USA blew it to Panama, who deserved to win that semifinal last time. So either way. Yeah, the Central American Cup curse, but in the Gold Cup. Well, I just say in general, really. Hell, even the Champions Cup. I've not seen a team until next year. It's very rare when a team actually requalifies. See, the reason why it's not the Champions Cup curse is because rarely, at least in the tournament, the defending champion doesn't requalify. Rarely do they requalify. Now with these more spots, it happens next year. Cruz Azul will be there next year. We know that already. Cruz Azul will be there next year. Because America made 2 finals. They had a very good bracket, or very good general table position. So Cruz Azul will be there next year. They're defending champions. They will be back in the Champions Cup next year. But, so we'll see what happens there. But there's no Champions Cup curse because the defending champion, unless the defending champion not making it is the curse. The Central American Cup, normally the defending champion does make it back because they're a big Central American club. Alajuelense broke the CONCACAF League Central American Cup curse, saved by Freeze. We'll see if it comes back, though, but for now, it's broken. Was it a one-time thing? We'll find out. Does Alajuelense go back-to-back, or does the next champion fall back to it? Who knows? Caribbean Cup, we don't know if it's a curse yet because that's brand new. Robin Hood didn't even make the tournament, so they didn't even get embarrassed as defending champions. Now they're back. If they beat Cavalier in the final, is that a curse or is that just cinema? It's really the Central American Cup curse either way. But yeah, the Gold Cup, yeah, same thing. Hard to go back-to-back, even though it's a 2-year tournament. Nothing should really change that much. It shows you that I guess things do change a lot every 2 years in football. I guess they do. Yeah, the Canadian Montagliani. I know. I don't know what the point is there. I agree with that. Pulisic's the new Landon. Like, I don't like people comparing Pulisic to Dempsey because I've heard it. It's stupid. That is stupid. Now, if you compare Pulisic to Donovan, I'll let you have that. Because they pretty much are very similar. But Dempsey, Diego Luna is Dempsey. Oh, yeah, no, you're right. He is the new Dempsey for sure. Funnily enough, he didn't score tonight, but I said recent history, not prehistoric history. I said it was hard. I didn't say it was impossible either. Cross in. So I said it was hard, not impossible. And I'm talking about the last 10 years. I'm talking about the last 10 years, recent history. And again, my point being is curses can sometimes be broken. Ask Alawalense. We don't know whenever if there's a new champion, Alawalense could go back to back to back, then maybe that curse is totally dead for Central American Cup. Maybe. But again, my point is curses can be broken, but they can be returned to. Shot! Goal! 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 Raul Jimenez! Uno! Gol de Mexico! Gol del Tri! Gol de Raul! Raul Jimenez FC! Golazo! Top bins, 1-1. Jota celebration. Marcel assist. And he's got a Diogo jersey. Man, I want to tear up there. Marcel Ruiz plays it through. Jimenez is right there. Just top bins it. There you go. I think I actually wanted to tear. I was about to tear up there, man. I wanted to freaking. Dear Lord. You know, maybe I should buy a Raul Mexico jersey. He's a good dude. He's a good dude, Raul. He's a good dude. Marcel Ruiz plays it through. I agree with that. Raul Jimenez, 27th minute. He was onside. Uno. Raul Jimenez. Still on for 3-1 Mexico. Let him cook. 1-1. Uno. 27th minute. You know what? If I get a New Mexico jersey, it might be a Raul jersey. Well, makes sense because they're Raul Jimenez FC. I do need a jersey with a new logo. Last year's peacock feather wine jersey or the black and gold jersey from this Gold Cup? Which one? Or just next year's World Cup jersey? Yeah, that was an amazing play by Raul. Amazing. When I say that Raul Jimenez FC, I don't mean that meanly. That should be a free kick. What are you doing? Bad call. But that's going to be a free kick the other way. What? Advantage? What? Okay, I don't get it. Mora dumps it back. 30th minute. This ref sucks. Gilberto Mora is that guy. He's damn good. That kid is good. Gilberto Mora is he's the answer. He is the answer. Mexico called him up and gave him a shot. Instead of sending him to the Toulon tournament, they sent him here, and he took that opportunity with open arms. Such a good player. He's such a good player. Like, he hasn't put a foot wrong. Well, even when he did, it didn't bite him in the ass. 30th minute. Talented. Good point. Canada should be playing Mexico. No, we shouldn't. Let's not. We got beat, rightly so, by Guatemala. We played with our food. We didn't park the bus when we should have. We got what we deserved. Canada should have parked the bus instead of going for 2. They didn't. They let Guatemala have the space to push and get that goal and set up to that goal, like gain momentum, charge up their laser, and then score the goal. So I love that Raul did the Diogo celebration and pulled out the jersey, but them showing it as many times as they have makes me want to cry. And I don't want to do that on camera. I think Canada be playing Mexico better than the USA are, but then again, we lost to Guatemala, so can I even say that without looking like an idiot? I don't know. We got what we deserved. Canada got what they deserved. Losing to a Guatemala team they allowed to just live when it came to the game itself. So do that what you will. Thirty-second minute. 32nd minute playing forward. That's cool. Actually would go well. Playing forward. Brought down. Ball played forward. Again, Raul. Turns back. Plays it back. Alexi Vega. Cross. Headed away. USA hasn't done anything since that goal. Oh, you weren't trying to. Well, what'd you think was going to happen? I told you. The USA got lucky to score one. I just didn't expect it to be Chris Richards, but 3-1 was my prediction. I saw this coming. My predictions only suck when I'm biased. Let's just be real. When I'm not biased, they're pretty damn good. I normally am on way much more if I'm, well, mostly if I'm not biased. Let's be real. If I'm not biased, if there's no bias, my predictions are pretty on the money. Maybe more 70-30 instead of like 30-70, but you know. Like Leagues Cup 23 was bad because that was just straight biased. I'll admit that right there. Canada, probably biased. I didn't realize they'd be that bad, and they actually were that bad, but biased. Club World Cup. I wasn't even biased there. If I was biased, I would have had Chelsea going to the freaking final. Nobody thought Man City would lose, but you know. Nobody thought either European team on that bottom side of the bracket was going to lose. But either way, so my defense there, but either way, like as the knockout stage started, of course, before the tournament, it was PSG. Yeah, there was no chance they were winning that. But again, nobody saw Al Hilal happening. So either way. Yep. Nothing. Yeah. Yeah, I miss the deeper gold Saints color. The Nike gold sucks. He says that he has a Nike Saints jersey. But either way, save. He says he has a Saints jersey. But the cool part is like the away color rush jersey has that deeper gold. The home and away don't. The actual home and away don't. So, 35th minute. I mean, the Mexico one seems like a deeper gold, but No, I don't think that matters, the haircut. The haircut doesn't matter. Mexico is a better team. I said the USA played a bunch of nobodies this whole tournament. If USA played Canada and beat Canada in the semifinal, I said as much. If they had beaten Canada in the semifinal, I'd have felt better about letting them, saying they were going to win this final. Not that I still don't think they would have, but this USA team played a nobody Trinidad team, a nobody Saudi team, a nobody Haiti team, a barely somebody Costa Rica, a nobody Guatemala, and then Mexico, who's a somebody, a big dog. They did not play a big dog. They only played a somewhat somebody at best. And they never got better. And they never got better. The USA never got better when it came to this tournament. When they played a big dog outside this tournament, they got their shit rocked. People are acting like, oh, 5-0 Trinidad. They're so much better. No, they're not. No, they're not. No. And then look at the rest of the tournament. They struggled. Besides the Trinidad game, which Trinidad played so damn badly, they gave them that 5-0. If Trinidad played with any sense of actually okay football, it would have been probably 2-0. Trinidad played so badly, that's why they got massacred. It wasn't the USA was good. They got massacred because they massacred themselves. They gave the USA the sword to cut their heads off and kick them down the freaking 300 hole. So, USA played nobody, and they struggled with everybody. Mexico played mostly nobodies, but at least they got better. You could tell as Mexico played across the tournament, they got better connected. They found their best 11. Even if the goals weren't coming, you saw the play develop. You had to watch the games. And most people still said Mexico was going to win, but you had to watch the games. Mexico throughout this tournament have gotten better. Even though they've struggled, they've gotten better. You've seen them actually build play, build an 11, build a perfect team, build a perfect squad. Or not a perfect squad, but the squad that actually accents their abilities. This USA squad hadn't done that. Besides Diego Luna proving he should be at the World Cup next year, and maybe Sebastian Berhalter, other than that, they ain't done nothing. It's more of a individual plaudits for the USA. There are Matt Freese, he'll probably be on the roster, but who, I'm not going to say he gets the starting goalie job. That's not going to happen. Matt Turner doesn't have it, but Freese, unless he has such good friendlies, he's probably not getting the starter goalie job. 39th minute. So, what are you laughing at? I thought I was making a good point. Almost Mora. Alvarez. Possible. I'm not going to say it won't happen. So, 39th minute. I don't think Matt Turner has it. He's on this roster. I just said he ain't getting the job back, so no. I think Freese is better. But I don't think either of them have the starting job for the World Cup, at least right now, even though Freese has pulled a Matt Turner. Let's not forget, Matt Turner didn't lock up the USA starting goalie World Cup 22 job until after the Gold Cup. He earned his chance after the 21 Gold Cup, and that's when he took it. The 21 Gold Cup opened the door to him earning his chance and earning that starting spot. So now he's in the position he was in 4 years ago, Matt Turner. Now, Freese, he could open the door with his Gold Cup performance, but this won't win him the job single-handedly. He'll have to have good friendlies. But who's to say how many friendlies does he start? He only has a small amount of friendlies to truly impress against bigger club or bigger national team. So, what happens there? The DR should have won that game, but either way. Corner for Mexico, 41st minute. Cross in. Piojo Alvarado, cross, header, cleared away by Chris Richards. 41st minute. So basically, my point is this. If a riot starts, the fault of it is of the aggressor, the people who shouldn't be there. If a riot starts because of a group of people who shouldn't be there, as in the state, and they, because a riot starts because of the state, it's the state's fault. If you're doing nothing, it's like somebody being uninvited to a party. See, it's like somebody being uninvited to a party and that person starts a ruckus or gets the party shut down. Whose fault is it? The person who was uninvited who got the party shut down. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Who's uninvited here? 43rd minute. Yellow for Montes. Who's uninvited here? Okay. So you got it. Good. Good. Making sure. Okay, so we're on the same page. Good. 43rd minute. Oh. No, yellow card. I don't think that was a red. Yellow card for Montes. Oh, Lord. This is a free kick. Let's see what happens here. Does Mexico screw it up again? Is Berhalter standing over it? I'm glad he did. I'm glad he did. That's one thing I wanted tonight was Raul scoring. And then he pulled out the Jolta jersey. And he actually walked out with it as well. He actually walked out wearing the Jolta jersey as well. Didn't notice that until I just saw it. Cross in, which that was lovely. Cross in. Cleared away. 45th minute. Fair enough. But the ball was near him, and it's CONCACAF, so that does that for you. Ball was near him. It's CONCACAF. It's not a red. Header! Oh, Lord. That almost. Freeman almost. Playing forward. Ajimong. Oh! Roll down the box. Somehow no penalty? What? Nah, 2 minutes of stoppage time. Nah. I can't. Over the bar. Luna over the bar. Goal kick. No. No. No, that's not. No, I can't believe that wasn't a penalty. I think Mexico got lucky there. No penalty against? No, they got lucky there. $47th minute. Ajimang stinks. Yeah, he doesn't. I was talking about before the Luna shot. 30 seconds to go. 1-1. Uno. How am I behind? Maybe I should put on TDNA. When it hits halftime, I'll put on TDNA. Actually. It's already halftime on TDNA. Well, there you know. It's already halftime on there. Yep. Fox is back or behind. It's halftime. 1-1. Uno. Miro tiempo. Uno esta noche. Miro tiempo. 1-1. I have no idea. I agree. Ajimang's not the guy. He's a good player, but he's better as a sub, if anything. He's not a starter, as everybody else is, I guess. I'm not a boomer. I don't use Facebook. I'm not, dude. To me, Facebook's boomer stuff anyway. Like, to honestly use Facebook, you either just use it for your friends or you're a boomer. Facebook isn't cool anymore. It's funny it became that way when it was the cool thing. I say bring back MySpace. No, I don't like Fabrizio. Like, he has good sources for actual news, but like this Jota, some of the PR this man does, unashamed PR, like this Jota situation where he's milking it, the funeral and all that. Fabrizio seems like he's got no scruples. Like, he seems he wants to be famous. Like, he legitimately realized he got famous. And he wants to be famous. Like, he wants to be famous. That's not what a transfer reporter should be. You should be known in football circles. Fabrizio wants to be famous. So he does this shameless PR for multiple players and then does this shameless, milks Jota's funeral. Milks this situation. Like, this man, when there's no transfers, dude's glazing you all, milks the funeral, does PR. Like, damn. I think he's unscrupulous. So, exactly. Hell, even Shams knows he's famous, but Shams doesn't pull what Fabrizio does. You know what I'm saying? Like, John Heyman, baseball guy. You don't watch baseball, so you don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe you do. Jon Heyman. He's an ass. But at least he knows that he's just a baseball reporter. I don't like his takes sometimes. I think he's an old curmudgeon. Dude sort of plays into the meme. Bob Nightingale as well. But he's not Fabrizio. If another Oscar Taveras type situation happened, I don't think Jon Heyman or Bob would be milking it. So, at least I think they have some scruples. I may not like their takes, especially on the actual game of baseball, because sometimes they ask them because they're on MLB Tonight or MLB Now or whatever, and they have takes about what's actually happening instead of just signings. During the season, I think they're idiots, especially Heyman. He is. And he's an old curmudgeon. But then again, that's baseball for you. Pierre LeBrun's pretty good, I agree. CJ, Chris Johnston, he's good. Reporter CJ's good. Kevin Weeks is good. I don't think that's a problem in hockey, really. They know their lane. Of course, Steve Dangle and his dudes, they're good. Reporter Chris, Pierre LeBrun, Bob McKenzie, even though he just retired, he's good. Who else am I forgetting? But either way, like hockey, there's no problem there. Like hockey reporters, they know their rumors. You know who to look for, but I don't look at Kevin Weeks and I say, yeah, he does those weird videos where he only shows half of his face and then says, breaking news, so-and-so is going to so-and-so. He does that, but I think that's just him playing into the meme. But he's not using his name to be unscrupulous and do what Fabrizio is doing. Kevin Weeks kind of plays into the meme, but, so that's that. But either way, I might disagree with some of their takes again. And I think there are some older curmudgeon type reporters in hockey that I don't agree with. Craig Button. But, well, good. Well, I'm not surprised. I like Weeksy, though. I do. I think he just plays into the meme at this point, like the half-face videos. I think it just plays into the meme. And he's really good with goalie news. Other than that, it might be hit or miss, but the goalie news is perfect from him because he was a goalie. He was a goalie. But even Biz. Like, Biz is not a reporter. He's just a talking head. But even Biz, like, he just has fun with it. Like, Biz knows he's a meme, but he's fun with it. Yep. Dude, I saw a video recently of Don Cherry. Like, they had a video for his, 91st birthday. Man, he looks every bit of 91. He looks bad. I hope that doesn't mean we're losing him soon. But he looks every bit of 91. Which that's a really good life, but I hope that he still I hope Don Cherry still lives longer. But 91's still a long, good life, but he looks every bit of 91. I'll tell you that. Maybe that's just the way it is. Yeah. Well, with that being said, we'll take a short break at the half, talk about the stats, get this one going. 1-1, 1-1, middle tiempo, sit tight, be back. We're back for the stats of the half. He better stay. Sign him just to loan him out. Dude's an upgrade over Noni and Mudryk. I expect actually good season. 10 goals, 20 assists, all comps somewhere around there. Something like that. Maybe a little bit more. But he's going to play. Why would you? Either way. Stats of the half. 36% possession to 64% possession. 3 shots to 7. 2 shots on goal to 5. 124 accurate passes. 77% 256. 86%. 6 fouls to 6. 0 corners to 5. 3 shots to 7. 2 shots on goal to 5. We have 162 passes to 298. 77% pass accuracy to 86. We have 10 throws to 9. 0 offside to 0. 0 yellow cards to 1. 0 red cards to 0. 1-1 at the half. Uno medio tiempo. For me, it's been all Mexico. It's been all Mexico. The way this is going, yeah, my 3-1 prediction is going to hit, maybe even 4. Mexico, it's been all Mexico. The USA are lucky to have 1 goal, which I'd still think they'd be lucky. I think the way this is going, the way Mexico's playing, it's going to hit 3 for sure. Especially because if they score the second one around the 50th, 60th minute, the USA has to open up to equalize. That's when Mexico hits them. You know, so, yeah, 3-1 still, I thought that was a good shout. But, again, they didn't score that chance like they did the header. Again, it's been mostly Mexico, 99.5% Mexico during this game. Mexico, all they got to do is just keep playing the way they have, and they win. Probably before extra time. It's that simple. The way Mexico's been playing, just keep playing that way. Hold on to the ball, play it forward, attack, and just keep breaking down the wall with the USA, and they'll break. The USA's been playing like they have a 5-0 lead. You don't do that with 1-0. You still got to have, or even 1-1. You can't really do that. They're actually playing well, though. Again, it's not the 11. It's not the 11 that's the problem. And the way Mexico's playing, I mean, I don't see a problem. Maybe Mateo Chavez should come in later, but again, I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem. I think it's smoke. But, and I don't think there's fire, at least not yet. I'm not going to be I won't be wise man Bill Wuxton. I'm not going to do that. I don't think there's a fire yet. There's smoke. I don't think they're true. I'm not going to be like wise man Bill Wuxton and say where there's smoke, there's fire during silly season. I'm not going to say that. Or where there's smoke, there's fire. Wise man Bill. Wise man Bill. How do I win? To win, you have to be in front of the person who's in second. Oh, wise man Bill. Wise man Bill. The USA gave up a goal, 27th minute to Raul Jimenez, but it's a 1-1 draw. That does not look like the Gold Cup. Nobody. If you've watched Formula One Drive to Survive, you get the wise man Bill joke. That's not the wise man I'm talking about, but I'm not talking about Paul Heyman. Either way, speaking of another Heyman, I'm not talking about Paul Heyman, but either way, he's not even the wise man anymore. He's just an advocate now. Either way, second half, here we go. But that should be easy. That should be easy. Either way, if you watch Drive to Survive, you'll get the wise man Bill joke. Will Buxton. Wise man Bill. because he says the stupidest, most obvious shit. It's sarcasm. He's not wise. It's just obvious. That's the joke. That's the joke. Copium. It's huffing copium at the pit wall. There's water in my seat. Why is that? It must be the water. It must be the water. Must be the water. What? There's huffing copium at the end of the pit wall. Second half about to start. Man, making these F1 jokes just doesn't... Well, it does. Good. They should have had it. I'm glad they brought it back. Second half is underway. 1-1, 1-1. You know, I hate that barely anybody gets the F1 jokes or the F1 references I make, especially the ones that are the memes. Does Potts choke another final? Yes. Yes, he does. He does choke another final because that's all he does. I want to see Lewis react to this game. Just for him to shit on Potts one more time. Playing forward. I would hope Lewis is going to laugh. Dude still hates Pochettino. Yep. They made a lot of money. I hope they use it for good. Pay the players. Watch it since 2020. Cover it last Sunday. I finally covered actually doing the Grand Prix live last Sunday when it was the Austrian Grand Prix. But I've been watching the sport. I've been a fan of the sport since 2020. I've gotten very hyperfixated recently on it. But I've been a fan since 2020. I mean, it was one of the first to come back. That was helpful. Either way, I mean, auto racing in general, I've been a fan of since 2020. But F1 was the first thing I got into. Then NASCAR, then Indy. But NASCAR was because, well, redneck. And Fox Sports had the rights, and they showed a lot of NASCAR stuff before the CONCACAF League game. So it just naturally fell in there. And then when Fox got the rights to IndyCar, I got into that too. But it's closer to F1 than NASCAR. I never thought I'd get into Indy, but, you know, it's not that different. So, but no. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the £1 billion blue bottle jobs, yeah, that was bad. I mean, it made it more entertaining. I don't think the actual quality of the racing was good, but the Grand Prix was entertaining. Header, it was entertaining. The quality wasn't great, but because of the rain, it was entertaining. Austria was pretty good with just regular dry weather. Maybe I'll consider being live for the Belgium one. We'll see. At this point, maybe I have to be. Carabao Cup against Liverpool, for sure. I hope they do, because Canada won't win it. I didn't say Canada shouldn't go far. I said they won't win it. I still hope they get to the quarterfinals. Round of 16 or quarterfinals. I still think they can. But I hope Portugal wins. Cross in. Canada upset Spain next year. Well, I'd have fun with that. Then I'd get really hopeful that they actually could do something. Don't do that to me. Chris Richards has been good this whole tournament. Yeah, he has. He's actually had a couple of goals too. That's out for a goal kick. He has been good. Chris Richards has been. But again, he can score goals too. Yeah, he did score against Saudi. He's got a couple, yeah. He's good. I'm not saying he ain't. He is. But scoring goals is... There you go. US-17 to lose Argentina in the semifinals. They ain't making it that far. Chris Paul is one more year. He'll play one more season. It's going to be sad to see him go. Chris Paul. Chris Paul's a legend. Chris Paul's a legend to me. It's going to be sad to see him go. And Kyle Lowry might be done too if he doesn't get a contract this summer. Piojo Alvarado, shot wide. If Kyle Lowry don't get a contract this summer, he said he's probably going to retire. Well, if it is a total dark horse, it better be Canada. Like, I think Canada on paper is a better team than Iran. Or Morocco's not really a dark horse anymore. Turkey, yeah, I'll say that. Well, our best 11 with Davies and Eustachio. On paper, sure, they're better than Iran. If it's a total dark horse, it better be Canada. Don't get my hopes up. Don't say that. Amen. Don't say that. Total dark horse. Yeah, with the Toronto Raptors. I hope he plays one more year with the Raptors. At this point, I don't care. At this point, I don't care. DeRozan, Lowry, bring them home. Let them go out 1 year together. We ain't doing shit besides maybe making the playoffs. Let them be here together. Hell, DeRozan can leave if he wants to after this year. I don't know if he'll do that, but 1 more year. I don't think DeRozan will retire after this year, but 1 more year. Bring back Kyle. Bring back DeMar. Do it right. If DeMar stays, that's fine. But if Kyle gonna come back, which I think the Raptors might do, you got to get DeMar back. And it's possible. So you know what? Do it. Do it. 53rd minute. Yep, and DeMar too. I think they both would. Yep, 17 trade. I saw. Capella's going back to Houston. That was weird. Didn't he shit on Houston on his way out? Capella, didn't he? Okay. 53rd minute. I think DeMar and Kyle would be good mentors if they brought him back. And also still have a little bit to give. Shot over the bar. Especially Kyle. I think DeMar has more to give than a little bit, but 54th minute. I think Kyle would be more like Haslam at this point. Udonis Haslam, like with the Heat. But he'd still show up. Sounds good to me. I don't care how bad the Raptors are. I'll watch them anyway. If they brought back DeMar and Kyle, I don't care how bad the Raptors are. I'll still watch them no matter how bad they are. If they brought back Kyle and DeMar. Even if they were a bad team this year, I'd still watch. Normally, these last couple of years, I haven't really watched besides Summer League and G League. You know? And the Raptors should have a very good G League squad this year as well because of the Summer League. But if the Raptors were trash, I'd still watch. This year, I'd actually watch. Even if they brought back DeMar and Kyle or just Kyle, I'd still watch. Even if they totally sucked. There's at least the nostalgia factor to be like, yeah, they suck, but at least DeMar and Kyle are back. Arfston almost. Playing forward. Are you still watching on Fox? Turn to TDNA. Doesn't surprise me because they hate Caitlin Clark so much, they're going to go on a strike. Because, we wish we were Caitlin. Oh, shut up. Why? Like, here's the thing I don't get. Why does the WNBA, like, I'm not saying the MLS handles Messi the right way either. I'm not. But why does the WNBA hate Caitlin Clark so much, the coaches and the other players? Like, the WNBA has always been solid, okay? Women's basketball has been getting better, but they hate Caitlin Clark because she makes them relevant, that they've got the most eyes on their product they've ever had because of her and Angel Reese to a certain extent, but they don't like Caitlin. They don't want to give her props. It makes no sense to me. Like, you would not be this famous if it wasn't for Caitlin. Like, yeah, you do have a good style of game. I thought women's basketball was growing when Mississippi State went to the frickin' college Final Four. National championship 2 years in a row. Saved by Freeze. Let's remember, Mississippi State went to the final of the college women's March Madness 2 years in a row. Back in 17 and 18. They did. College basketball, women's basketball was growing back then when State was on their run with Vic Schaefer. And I'm glad Toronto's got a team, the Toronto Tempo. I'm glad Toronto's got a team. Also the AFC Toronto in football as well. But I'm glad they have a WNBA team. But I don't understand it with Caitlin Clark. I don't. Like, she's a good player. She seems like a good person. Why are they so jealous? Now, again, I'm not saying MLS is handling Messi right, but completely right. But the players have respect for Messi. Messi being in MLS, you don't see a player kicking at him because he's Lionel Messi and they're jealous that they'll never be him. They hug him. They ask for his shirt. Everybody asks for his shirt. You got to be the lucky one to get the shirt. Right? And people treat him like he's the GOAT because he is. Now, MLS on the roster rules side and the competitive side and trying to grow the league side, they aren't treating him well, but the players aren't jealous. They know what they are. They know what he is. They're not jealous. But the WNBA, they finally get a big push in their viewership with Caitlin Clark, and they all hate her. They don't want her to go to the Olympics. They don't want her to be at the All-Star game. Did you see the vote between the fans and the players? The players voted so much less for Caitlin than the fans did. How does that make any sense? Corner for Mexico. I didn't know that. I knew about the 3x3 league, but exactly. Yep. Fair enough. 60th minute. Fair enough. I mean, I can understand the tensions being part of it, but society at large. Well, I guess that goes with the society at large that BKL was saying. But they're definitely not professional. '60th minute. But again, like, I'm still going to be a fan of the Toronto team when they start because. But let me also propose this. Marta, right? Marta came to the NWSL and everybody, she's probably the woman's GOAT, at least. Well, Christine Sinclair was there as well, but one of the women's GOATs with Christine Sinclair and Abby Wambach. Everybody loved Marta for coming over to the NWSL. Yellow card. Free kick, 1-1. Where's the jealousy there? Where's the jealousy with Christine Sinclair? But then again, she always was over in North America. She never went to Europe. So there's a difference there. But again, where's the jealousy there? But again, where's the jealousy there? Like, what? It's got to be an academy product that makes the NWSL blow up? Like maybe one of the Thompson sisters? Maybe? Playing forward. I actually believe the NWSL is a lot more inclusive than the WNBA, to be real. I feel like it is, in my opinion. I feel like the NWSL is more inclusive than the WNBA, in my opinion. But I guess there's also the fact that maybe technically the NWSL for the longest time was the best women's league in the world, the best women's football league in the world. Only now is the WSL catching up to it. Only now is Liga F catching up to it. Only now is the European leagues catching up to NWSL. It was always, maybe that's the difference. Maybe that's what it is. CONCACAF was always the center at the beginning of women's football. CONCACAF is where women's football became a big thing. Canada, USA, NWSL, it was always CONCACAF. Now the rest of the world's catching up with UEFA, with the domestic leagues in Europe, Asia. They're all CONMEBOL, they're all catching up now. CONCACAF was the first. There's a reason why USA and Canada were 1 and 2 when it came to women's teams. They were 1 and 2. Because in the world, because it was CONCACAF first. CONCACAF did it first. And maybe that's why the NWSL isn't in the same situation as the WNBA, because the NWSL still may be, but certainly was for the longest time, the best women's league in the world. Even Liga MX Femenile's catching up. But the NWSL for the longest time was the best women's league in the world in football. For the longest time it was. And CONCACAF was the best confederation for the longest time. So it's good so far. Italy's got to do better. Well, Italy did win, but win your next game, you go to the knockouts because you're playing Spain third. You're not winning that. Italy's got to win their next game to go to the knockouts, because if they don't, they got to beat Spain, and that's not happening. I'll tell you that right now. I do like seeing England struggle, though. That's funny. 65th minute corner for Mexico. 1-1, 1-1. Yep. Exactly. I would agree with that. Yeah. But again, CONCACAF, maybe the difference is, and you're right, Isiah, but again, maybe the difference lies in the fact that NWSL was the first and the best. And CONCACAF was where it all started for women's football. Maybe that's the difference. Maybe because it started here, it's different. But yeah, there's more inclusivity. There is more actual good ways to build the game when it comes to the women's side of things. But CONCACAF, I think it helps that the WNBA, it was subsidized by the NBA. It was always a joke. The U.S. women's national team, and I'm not saying for a lot of people the WNBA was always a joke. NWSL was never that. CONCACAF was never that in women's football. The USA and Canada always made sure people saw it as what it was. The best league in the world. And it still might be. But if you look at Europe, the sport Europe is growing. Liga MX Femenil is growing. But it's like the opposite of MLS and Liga MX. If you watch the CONCACAF W Champs Cup, it's the opposite. NWSL's Liga MX. Liga MX Femenil's MLS. It's the total opposite. Now, I don't know how many times the NWSL is going to win straight, but you get my point. We'll see if the Canadian League gets to the point where it could challenge as well. But corner for Mexico. What? No. I remember when Gideon did that. I mean, yeah, Nathan's is normally what we get now. Yeah, the Nathan's hot dogs are normally what we get now, and their fries, but a hot dog's a hot dog. I mean, what's the difference? Ballpark, Bar S, Nathan's, what's the difference? They're hot dogs. Like, what's the difference? They're hot dogs. I'd say the bun makes more of a difference than the actual frank, but either way. And maybe the fries or whatever side you have. Those Nathan's fries are really good, though. Either way, cross in, cleared away by Chris Richards. Let's remember, 90 minutes, tied, extra time. There will be extra time tonight if there's a tie. So, yeah. Well, that's what Don Garber wants. He wants MLS to have a women's league owned with teams that are owned by the MLS squads, sort of like MLS Next Pro. He wants that. Now, will it happen? I'm not sure. But I don't know if that's a good idea, really. Like, yeah, there's still Houston Dash, so would they move? Would Orlando Pride move? Would KC get bought by the Sporting and then move? Would the Thorns move? Like, it just feels like I don't think they should do it. Like, Don Garber wants it, which that's the bad part. But again, he doesn't know football. You have the Thorns, who were owned by the Portland Timbers, but still are connected to them, so they probably would join. The Orlando Pride, owned by Orlando City. Houston Dash, owned by the Dynamo. Real Monarchs. Salt Lake. Not Real Monarchs. What was it? Utah rolls. Utah rolls. Either way. I think they came back, didn't they? Utah rolls. KC. If Don Garber does that, he's an idiot. I mean, he can't kneecap the NWSL, can he? Like, legitimately, if he does that, he kneecaps the NWSL. It's dead. He does that, it's dead. Like, most of the teams are owned by MLS clubs, or were, to the point where they'd probably be in the MLS Women's League. Really? 70th minute. At least Louisville could find their home in the USL Super League. Sure. And some of the other teams. But the NWSL will be crippled by Don Garber if he pulls that, which wouldn't shock me because he's Don Garber. He has the harebrained ideas that actually he thinks would grow the game, but won't. And he's greedy. Don Garber doesn't know shit about football. He doesn't know. He has Jorge Mas puppeteer him around. With the schedule? It's not the schedule, Jorge. It's the fact you have a salary cap, you idiot. It's not about the schedule, you idiot. It never was about the schedule. I know you play in Miami, so you know nothing about snow, but it's not about the schedule, it's about the cap. But no, it's the schedule, right? Idiot. I guarantee you the schedule thing's only being pushed by Jorge Mas, and because he has Messi, he has to be right? Did you see that Football America's interview that he did? Did you see that? That dude had a shit-eating grin on his face when he talked about the schedule. That's when I knew it was his ass pushing it, which I'm not surprised. The only thing that's fall, spring schedule benefits is Miami and LA. And I guess Atlanta, because at least they have a dome. It doesn't benefit Toronto. Have you seen the snow in St. Louis? It could get bad. It doesn't benefit St. Louis. Montreal might be dead. You have no idea. None. Extra time. You have zero idea. You have zero idea. Ajmang's getting the boot. Will Luka? Interesting. Yeah, but at the worst, $100 million salary cap without the DP rules and TAM and GAM would still be better than what they have now. That's the problem. Let them spend at least $100 million for their roster how you see fit. At least do that. Get rid of the DP rules. Get rid of TAM. Get rid of GAM. Get rid of U22. That's the problem. If you have $100 million to spend, it's still a cap, but it's up to you. And only make it the actual budget charges of the player and not their transfer fees, which is dumb as well. Hey, at least they did cash trades, though, because that's called a transfer fee. Hey, at least they got that right. I will. And you know what? Yeah, maybe I am crashing out about the summer schedule. Maybe. And maybe I am crashing out about the summer or the fall-spring schedule when it comes to MLS. But I will forever crash out about it. I don't care if I'm here. I don't care if I'm ever a coach. I don't care where I am. I will, till my dying breath, I will say that the fall-spring schedule situation for MLS is the dumbest thing I ever heard of. It should never happen. The only people it benefits is Miami, LA, both LA clubs, and the Florida, Orlando and Atlanta. That's it. Maybe, Texas still gets cold sometimes. Do you remember the ice storm Ted Cruz ran away from? Do you remember the ice storm Ted Cruz ran away from? It still gets cold in Texas. Atlanta plays in a dome, so it doesn't matter, but it still gets cold there, and it still sometimes snows, but at least they play in a dome. But the Florida clubs, hey, it's fine. LA, it doesn't snow. It's cold sometimes, but it doesn't snow. See, the only teams it benefits are California and Florida and Atlanta. Hell, even the New York teams have to play cold weather. See, they only care about, and the funny part is, by the time you get this ready, Messi's going to be gone. So who are we helping? Who are we helping? We don't need to be on the European calendar to sell our players to Europe. Have you not paid attention for the past 7 years? Have you not paid attention? Actually, to get players from Europe, we also don't need that calendar. Have you not been paying attention the whole damn time? I legitimately, Jorge Mas pisses me off. It seems to me that Don Garber, half the shit he does now is to make that guy happy. It's not about you. Do I think Jorge Mas knows more about football than Don Garber? Yes. Don Garber's a damn puppet. Fair. But it's not about you. It's not about your club. It's not about Messi. If it actually was about him, you'd actually be for the things that actually help this league grow instead of things that line your pockets. But no, right? You got your hands so far up Garber's ass. So yeah, that's how I really feel about Miami. That's how I really feel. That's how I really feel. I don't like them. See, when I wear their jersey, it's because Messi mania, but this is a Mexico-USA game. I could say how I really feel, and here's how I really feel. I feel sorry for Messi. He's being used as a puppet. Mas has his hands so far up Garber's ass, it's not even funny. It's not even Beckham. Goal offside. Mas? Dude. 2-1. Here's a free kick for Mexico. Header. Goal. Alvarez. He's offside. He's offside. Mexico, offside. Well, it's everybody's problem. It's not just Miami's, it's everybody's, but they don't want to admit that. It's funny how the Club World Cup started people saying, you know what, maybe it is the roster rules. Duh, I've been saying that for years. My predictions might be shit. Okay? When I tell you somebody's a good player, I'm normally right. When I tell you what the problem is, I'm normally right. Maybe my predictions are sometimes shit. That's the bias. But when I tell you who a good player is, when I see a good player, I'm normally right. When I tell you what the problem is, I'm normally right. So my predictions are shit sometimes. Okay? Depending on how biased I am. Fair. I can tell you what the problem is without a problem, though. I can tell you who a good player is. That's never wrong. I've never been wrong. When I say that guy's a good player, I'd love to have him on my team, I'm normally right. When I tell you what the problem is, and Edson Alvarez goal stands. It's onside. His goal's onside. Edson Alvarez, 2-1, 2-1. 2-1 Mexico. Edson Alvarez. TUDNA's better. Yep. It's 2-1 Mexico. 1-2. Yep. Exactly. Edson Alvarez. That is the 77th minute. 1-2. Good cross. He was onside. As the ball's played through, he dives. Vasquez, he's onside as the ball's played to him. As Vasquez heads it, he's onside. Then he dives for it as the ball comes his way. Yep, it's onside, 1-2. Vasquez heads it back. Edson dives for it and pops it in. USA look like garbage. Yeah, barely on. The ball, he was onside as the ball got pushed back by Vasquez. And then as it hit him, he dived. That's what made him look offside. Like dive bombed it. But either way, Ream is so finished. Pochettino choking again? No way. But, yeah, who thought that was a good idea? Goal kick or kickoff for the USA, 10 minutes to go. They're going to have to open up now. 3-1 sounded pretty damn good. See, no bias there. Wouldn't you look at that? No bias. I'm pretty much on the money. Bias, that's when it gets bad. If you've noticed. But when I say somebody's a good player and I'd love to have him on my team, I'm normally right. When I tell you what the problem is with this damn confederation, I'm normally right. But either way, I do know my shit. I just sometimes get blinded by bias. I'll admit that. Still shouldn't have told somebody I really cared about to bet on Jamaica and bet on the over when they played Cuba back in September. But they didn't listen anyway, so it's fine. Onside, I agree. Too blinded by bias, fair enough. USA must ask Miami for one of their center backs because holy did Tim Ream get pantsed on that set piece. What's new? What's new? And by the way, the dude doesn't even play center back anymore for Charlotte. He plays right back. Well, left back. Either way, outside back. He doesn't play center back anymore. But for the national team, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Dude hasn't played center back in regularly for what? A year? A year? Who thought that was a good idea? 81st minute. Ajimong. Look. Well, I still think Richards is slightly the better player. I kind of had to give the USA one. Come on. Hey, when I had to compare, I had to give the USA one. You always have to give somebody one. Have you always seen those combined 11s? You never see them be 11 of one team. You have to give somebody one. That was Chris Richards. I had to give the USA Chris Richards. I can't just say all 11 Mexico players on this game when you combine the 11s of this game, this final. You can't say all the Mexico players are better. You have to give the USA one. I felt the most fine giving it to Chris Richards. Luna could have been another one, but I may have put Luna in there as well. But either way, I feel like that's fair. Tyler Adams is any good. Yep. Who thought Weingart was good? I'm sure Dylan would agree. Weingart was never good. Weingart was never good. Has Weingart ever been good? Santi Jimenez. I don't think I've ever seen Weingart actually play a positive game for Miami. I don't think I have. He's not Maurizio Sarri. Besides, Paul Malls are so 80s. How about menthols? He's got a freaking box of menthols just wrapped up in his sleeve or whatever, like he's freaking Grease. Fonz. He's got a box of freaking cigarettes wrapped up in his sleeve like he's the Fonz. He just pulls it out, boom. Blaze it. I don't know. Menthols. Yedlin's better. They shouldn't have let him go. But then again, cross in, good clearance. Ajimong is a super sub, in my opinion. I said 1 to 3, so. I mean, he's a good super sub. I don't think he's a starter. You're about to. I've been telling you for a week, this team isn't good enough. Hell, I've been saying for the whole month, this team isn't good enough. That wasn't blinded by bias. That was just the truth. Thinking Canada could win this damn thing was the bias. I've been saying about the USA this whole month. They're not good enough to win this tournament, even if they made the final. Look at what I said. That didn't change. Yeah, I agree. I say he's a super sub. Raul off for Santi. Chino Huerta off, or Chino Huerta on for Sanchez. Or, no, Israel Reyes. What are you doing? Vasco. Israel Reyes. Really? Really? John Tolkien is on. Hey, Sean's boy is on. Brennan Aronson coming on as well. Jim Leland's the GOAT. Jim Leland's a Don. Let me tell you, Jim Leland compared to, they always compare Tony La Russa and Jim Leland. Jim Leland was the better manager of the two. Tony La Russa's a wino. Tony La Russa was never good. That was Walt Jocketty's team. Let me tell you something. You know how the Cardinals were so good back in the early 2000s to the 2000s and early 2010s? That was Tony La Russa's team. Or that was, my bad, that was Walt Jocketty's team. That wasn't Tony La Russa's team. Tony La Russa's a wino. Hell, I'm a Cardinals fan, and I don't respect Tony La Russa. And he should have never came out of retirement. That was just sad. That was just sad. Like, the dude could have kept his legacy. That's the worst part. Tony La Russa could have kept his mythical legacy if he didn't come out of retirement and coach the White Sox. But because Reinsdorf felt like he missed out on something, he hired him back, and what happened? Tony La Russa lost his legacy. What do you know? I mean, yeah, the White Sox still suck now, but, all he had to do was not coach the White Sox, and all he did with the Cardinals would still be a mythical legacy of this guy's one of the best managers of all time. What happened? Tony La Russa is a fraud. A fraud. That Cardinals team was set up by Walt Jocketty. Hell, Mozeliak let that shit run as long as he could. Then you realize when the Cardinals started turning shit, La Russa left because he knew where it was going. Mozeliak lost Albert Pujols. He hires Mike Matheny. That was shit. Schilt probably got the best out of him. And then he fired him. And then he hires Ollie Marmol. And the only reason Ollie Marmol still has a career is 2022 when Yachty and Albert Pujols coached that damn team for him. And they still lost to the Phillies. But hey, at least Albert got to 700, right? At least he got there. At least Albert got to have the swan song that everybody wanted him to have. At least Yachty had the swan song everybody wanted him to have. And Yachty's going to get thrown under the bus as soon as he becomes the manager of the Cardinals because it's going to happen. I love Yachty. He's a good manager. He did well. Venezuelan league, Puerto Rican league, coaching at the World Baseball Classic. He did well. I don't want Yachty to coach the Cardinals. I don't want him to manage the Cardinals because I know he's getting thrown under the bus. But hey, maybe Hein Bloom has the right idea instead of Mozeliak. Maybe it's just Mozeliak I don't want him to coach under, which because he's leaving after this year, that won't matter. Or Albert for that matter, because Albert did really good during Winter League, the Caribbean Series. He did really well there as well. Albert could coach the Cardinals. I mean, he already did. That 1 year, his retirement year, he already did, pretty much. Only Marmol doesn't know his head from his ass. How does he still have a job? I don't know. Jimenez's finger is broken. Damn, that sucks. Well, still play with it, though. It's football. Actual football. You can still play with it. Put it on one of those, I don't know what to call those. Stabilize it, he can play on it. Stabilize it, wrap it, he can play on it. 90th minute. One of those like silver and blue foam things, like the stabilizer or whatever. Yeah. 90th minute. The only team that's worse than them is the Colorado Rockies. Washed up. That's what it is. 90th minute. How much stoppage time? 2-1 Mexico. 7 minutes are added. And Freeman's down outside the pitch. Gallardo pushed him over. Yeah, you shouldn't do that. For the love of God, Poch. I agree. But, yeah, no, the White Sox suck. But La Russa hadn't coached them for, 3 years? True. The Rockies have gotten better. I will admit that. The Rockies have gotten better. They have gotten better. And they just played the White Sox. 91st minute. By the way, speaking of the White Sox, rest in peace, Bobby Jenks. That was sad. Yeah, I don't think he was that good with Lopetegui. I don't think he was that good. I don't think he fit that system. Ajimong! Shot! Cleared away! Off the line! Huh? Either way. Yep. I think they might be able to do it, though, the way they've been playing. I'll admit that. I also think the Blue Jays might win the World Series this year. I didn't realize the Blue Jays would be so good. They're going to win the AL East. I believe it. The Blue Jays are going to go on a run. I'm so happy, man. I didn't realize the Jays would be so good. Man, this is awesome. This is awesome. 8-game win streak. And they're playing the White Sox and Athletics for the next 2 series before the All-Star break. They're going to have a big lead, the AL East, going to the All-Star break. I think people would pull their hair out. Man, the Blue Jays are going to win the AL East this year. There's no way. They're going to hold on. I feel like with the way their schedule looks, it looks easy enough. They should be able to hold on the way they're playing. You love it. The Yankees suck right now, man. The Blue Jays are hot. The Blue Jays are hot. I'd rather see the Mariners over the Rays and Yankees for sure. I'm still not happy about the fact that George Springer didn't get to go to the All-Star game and Julio is, but, well, it is what it is. At least we got Vladdy and Alejandro Kirk. But George Springer should have went to the All-Star game, not Julio. George had a better season. George has had a better season. George has had a better season than Julio. Simple as. Look at the numbers. 94th minute. Kirk's there as a backup. I'm happy Kirk's there. I'm saying George should be there too. That was a snub. Still considering, I'm still probably going to go live for the All-Star game. Not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday. 3 minutes to go. Of course, not the upcoming Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. I think I will go live for the MLB All-Star game. And then the next week, I'll be live for the MLS All-Star game. I will do the MLS Skills Challenge. I don't think I'm doing the Home Run Derby live, though. I'll watch the Home Run Derby, but I don't think I'm doing it live. Or reviewing it, for that matter. But I think they got to visit back when they won the last 2 times. So I think they would be able to go to Parliament Hill. Yeah. I think they would. Yeah, I think they'd invite them if they won it all. Yeah. Nice. Playing forward. Shot! Save. Which part? Pochettino's so dumb. I agree. I don't miss him at Chelsea. Randy Arozarena's good. Wasteful, yeah. Ajimong's been horrible. 1 more minute to go. 1.5 minutes to go. Mexico's about to retain the Gold Cup. Number 10 is about to come home to Mexico. Well, they're about to hold on to it, but they're about to get number 10 when it comes to the Gold Cup. 2-1. Ajimong plays. Well, right now he's still a Charlotte player, but he's going to be going to Derby County soon, this summer. So after this tournament's over, he's going to Derby. Should be interesting. Playing forward. Here comes Mexico. Oh, no. Santi. Oh, Vega. Come on. Well, out for a throw for USA. '97th minute. Here they are. Over the top. Header. 1-2 esta noche. Full time. Full time. Mexico have won and retained the CONCACAF Gold Cup. The 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup champions are Mexico. El Tri. 1-2 esta noche. Campeón de la Copa Oro. Bicampeón. Bicampeón de la México. 1-2. La décima de la Copa Oro de la México. Number 10. Number 10. Number 10 for Mexico. Number 10 for Mexico. La décima, la décima, la décima. La décima. Happy for old man Ochoa. He didn't even play. He got a yellow card, but he didn't even play. That's crazy, though. Pachela ban. Yep. There we go. Might as well. Yep. way deserving. Like, that was so good. Mexico did it so well. I mean, they've grown. They've grown. Like, Mexico, it looks like they actually have something brewing when it comes to actual potential. USA, I'm not damn sure. But with that being said, we have a champion. The first champion of the summer. Well, you knew that already. I knew that already. With that being said, USA loses 1-2. 1-2 esta noche México, campeón de la Copa Oro, bicampeón, la décima de la México. Yeah, they're definitely better than USA. Maybe Brian White should have played. With that being said, if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. I have zero idea. He should, but he probably... He shouldn't, I should say, but he probably will. Which, there you go. But with that being said, if you like this stream, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribed. Send some chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put this in playlist. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. I will see you within the hour for the review of this game. As I said, what happened the whole tournament. With that being said, what an absolute waste of potential. With that being said, I'll see you within the hour for the review of this match. On Monday, I will see you for the Club World Cup group or quarterfinal recap, semifinal predictions. Tuesday, I'll be live for the Fluminense Chelsea game, live RSR. For the Wednesday, we'll be live for the PSG Real Madrid game and review it. Also, the Forge Montreal quarterfinal second leg of the Canadian Championship, live and review for that as well on Wednesday. 2 lives, 2 reviews on Wednesday. Thursday, we have the Club World Cup semifinal recap. Friday, we have the Club World Cup final prediction. Saturday, Toronto FC versus Atlanta United live and review. And Sunday, next Sunday, is going to be the Club World Cup final live and review. So that's what the next week looks like for you. Yeah, I could just say next week. We just have a video. It's good. Next week. And should be a fun one. So, with that being said, if you like this, good. I'll see you later. I'm Ron and I'm out. Peace. Congratulations to Mexico. Felicidades, Mexico. Commiserations, United States. Commiserations, Estados Unidos. I'm out. Peace.